everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all types of topics related to narcissism. So if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I would really appreciate it if you gave the video a thumbs up. It's a free way you can help me out, and definitely don't forget to leave a comment because I like to read what you have to say. In today's video, I'm going to talk about narcissistic supply, and crucially, I want to warn you about what can happen when a narcissist loses that supply. If you walked into my house right now, you would not see any pictures on the walls. My bookcases are empty. There are half-filled boxes in every room. There's no Christmas tree, no decorations. My kids aren't even allowed to have their friends over anymore because nobody can know that we're moving. The reason for this is I'm married to a covert narcissist who lost supply, and by the skin of my teeth, my kids and I didn't go down with him. Nothing good is going to happen if you get mixed up with one of these evil creatures. But so that you know up front, you can survive it. You must survive it. My kids and I are going to survive it. So let's begin by talking about who a narcissist is, and then what narcissistic supply even is. A narcissist is probably the opposite of who you are. They're somebody that lacks compassion. They don't have empathy. There's no morals, and they are incapable of loving anybody, anyone. This goes against human nature, but when I say anyone, I really mean that. That extends even to their own children. So think about that. I'm sure you've heard that narcissists don't have any empathy. It's one thing to hear that and quite another to experience it. I've learned the hard way who a narcissist really is, and that's what my channel is all about. It's about telling you now what I wish I knew then. Without empathy, somebody is not constrained. They can't. They don't care about anybody but themselves. Love doesn't exist. Think about what you would be capable of if you truly, to your core, didn't care about anybody else. If you didn't understand compassion. Somebody else's pain is inconsequential. Your own child's pain is not a concern. Imagine the possibilities. That's a narcissist. But it's worse than that because this is going on, but you don't know. Not at first. You see, a narcissist doesn't care about other people, but they sure as hell care about themselves. They want to be loved and admired. They want limitless attention. They want to feel powerful. And to have that, they need you. They need supply. Somebody who does love, somebody who does have empathy, somebody who does care. So the narcissist plays games. They've learned how to mimic positive human emotions. They're like a parrot. If you had a pet parrot, you could teach it to say lots of things, but the parrot would have no idea what they're saying. They would have no idea what they're saying feels like. A narcissist's entire existence is a fabrication. They're pretending to be somebody they aren't, and people fall for it because narcissists are good actors. This is how a narcissist gets supply. You are the supply. You're there to make the narcissist feel good about themselves. And they do this by conning you. At the beginning of the relationship, a narcissist seems amazing. They're love bombing you. They're pretending to be somebody they aren't. When I first started dating my ex, I would rarely see him without him giving me flowers. He would compliment me all the time. He would take me out all the time. First impressions really matter. However, at the same time, there were also red flags, and I ignored them. I would convince myself that he didn't mean to, or he was having a rough day, or that's not really who he is, because I would think about the good things he did, and that would supersede any red flag. But the truth is that he would give me silent treatments. There was so much confusion. His behavior didn't make any sense. There was actually one time he told me he was going to kill somebody, and he left the house with a bunch of knives. I was scared to death. When I think about it today, I can still feel this. I was terrified. I was too scared to even do anything. I sat on the counter in our kitchen waiting for him. I collapsed in relief when he got home. The truth is that I was over my head with this relationship. I didn't have any boundaries or self-respect. And he was physically violent too. He gave me 2 black eyes when he broke my nose, and then I believed his apology. Now I have to live with that. He did eventually stop being physically violent, but the mental torture was through the roof. And with that, there were no apologies. I mean, he changed me as a person. I became a shell of the person that I used to be. When you are in a relationship with a narcissist, you will not receive love and support from the narcissist. Boundaries and standards are what will truly save your life. If you don't have any, if you are prone to being codependent, you are going to go on a ride from hell. Have you ever seen a squirrel burying acorns? I've watched them in my yard scurrying around, burying them all over the place. Sometimes narcissists are like that with supply. They have many sources. My ex put all his eggs in one basket, so when he collapsed, it was catastrophic. So my story is one of singular supply. There are a few things I've learned about narcissism since I began my channel, and one of them is this. Narcissists are so vile, so evil, truthfully. And I say this knowing how it sounds. I believe that narcissists are demonic. And because of that, I don't believe that any of us can win in human strength. I believe that God rescues us or we succumb to the narcissist. In April of 2016, I was delivered from codependence. I know that God did that, but whatever you choose to believe, I stopped cold turkey, and ultimately that's what saved my life and my kids' lives. I think that I might still be with my ex today if that hadn't happened. However, that did cause a narcissistic collapse. My rescue directly caused my ex to spiral out of control to a shocking degree. And when a narcissist collapses, they fall in on themselves and it gets ugly fast. It's actually shocking to witness. A narcissist is not their fake self anymore. All of a sudden, the mask is off and you are looking at evil straight in the eye. Now, remember, we thought we knew this person, and during the collapse, we begin to realize that actually, we have no idea who this person, who this thing really is. A narcissist is like one of those hollow chocolate Santa Clauses. A little pressure and they break. A narcissistic collapse is a response to frustration, to pain, to not getting supply. So when I stopped being codependent, my ex was not getting supply anymore and he couldn't handle it. And then, like I said, I was his primary source of supply. So he couldn't go to another source, which sometimes happens. Narcissists are prone to cheating. So if that's why they cheat. They need to spread their eggs around. They don't put all their eggs in one basket usually. So they'll go from one source of supply to the next to avoid a crash. Now, my ex didn't do that. So his crash was ugly. When they're in a crash, they don't care. They're out to destroy. No one matters. Not their kids, not their spouse, no one. Who they really are inside spills out to the outside. So during a collapse, you see who the narcissist really is. They are pathetic, miserably inadequate, useless, and inferior. In a way, it's kind of a relief to the narcissist, because can you imagine how exhausting it would be to maintain a constant life of lies if your entire life is a lie and you're always trying to remember which lie you told to which person? And finally, a narcissist doesn't have to hide their anger and resentment towards you. Yes, towards you. Remember, narcissists can't love, but they can feel jealousy. So you and I are real people. If you know me, you know me. You can't say that about a narcissist. They know who they are, and they know what it takes to pretend they're someone they aren't. And they're jealous that you can be normal effortlessly. You don't need to be fake. You really do love. They hate us for that. Narcissists know that deep down they don't deserve us. They don't deserve empathy, but they want it. And because they have a victim mentality, that always takes precedence. And they convince themselves that me, we're jerks for not giving them what they want. They hate that you loved the fake them, but despise and are afraid of the real one. Narcissists are full of shame, but they hide it. Now, I saw shame on my ex's face one time, and it stayed with me. I can remember it now so clearly, like it just happened. So my ex had passed out with a loaded gun right outside my house. Someone saw him and called the police. So that night, he ended up in a mental hospital, and my daughter got PTSD. Telling you, when a narcissist collapses, they take down other people. So we were woken up, my daughter and I were woken up by the cops banging on our door in the middle of the night. I'm going to tell you right now, when you are dead asleep and you are woken up with your dogs freaking out, you open your eyes and all you see are lights flashing and from the back windows, from the cops, the fire trucks, the ambulance. Your doorbell's ringing and cops are banging on your door yelling, "Police, police, open up." That will wake you up fast. So while I was speaking with the police, my ex was brought to the ER, and my then 15-year-old daughter was too afraid to leave her bed. She was terrified. When I went upstairs to see her, she was shaking in her bed. Later at the ER, I saw my ex, and when he saw me, I walked into the room, and there he is sitting there, and our eyes met, and I saw it. Shame. It's the only time I ever saw it. But to me, it was like a slap across the face. It was very real. Now, he quickly turned away, but not before I saw it. Now, before me, my ex used alcohol as narcissistic supply. His parents also gave him narcissistic supply. But once I was in his life, I was the main source. And this happens to so many of us. The narcissist clings onto you. They've chosen you. You are the supply, and they will hang on for dear life unless they get a secondary source of supply. So when a narcissist is experiencing a collapse, they're going to exhibit behaviors that puts not just themselves, but other people in danger. They don't care about anybody else. They really will take as many people down with them as possible. They have no care, concern. They're not somebody that's going to try to save their family. They're taking everyone down. So they will act reckless. You know, one thing my ex would do is he would drive drunk with my kids. He drove drunk with my kids' friends. He would offer. I mean, this is literally what my ex would do. So my kids would go to youth group at church. My ex, no, I didn't know this until later, but he would drink and then he would offer to take a bunch of kids to church. So there he is. My husband was driving drunk, taking a bunch of kids to the youth group at church, and he was getting supply because everybody was thinking, wow, it's so nice that he's taking everybody to a youth group. Wow, he's always offering to take everybody. He loved that, but he was driving around drunk with not just my kids, but other people's kids as well. He was also spending recklessly. He today, right now, as I sit here and make this video, he is $100,000 in debt. Yes, from like 5 credit cards. He kept charging and charging and charging and charging. Now he doesn't pay it. So he has $100,000 in debt. He doesn't pay it. And this all stems from his narcissistic collapse. He was giving me, towards the end of our relationship, once I woke up, once I was awake and I stopped giving him supply, when I was rescued from codependence, I was getting from him almost non-stop silent treatments. Because a narcissist isn't going to deal with anything. They refuse. They don't know how to communicate in the first place. They'll punish you. So I wasn't giving him what he wanted, so he just shut up. He refused to speak. So I'd get these non-stop silent treatments. Cruelty. Just absurd cruelty. I mean, a silent treatment in itself is cruel, but there was no kindness in him. And there wasn't anyways. And this is like the weird thing. Here I am saying, well, he wasn't kind, but that's because he was who he really is. A narcissist doesn't have kindness. So any kindness that he used to exhibit was all fake so that we, me and the kids, would like him. And then he ended up hating us for the same thing that he was fake about. He also started drinking all the time. Now, I didn't know this until later. He told me, he confessed this to me. He wanted sympathy is what he really wanted. I searched the house. After he told me that he was an alcoholic, I searched the house. I found alcohol bottles all over the place. They were in his desk. I found them in the shed in my yard. I found them in the backyard in the woods. I found them in the attic. There were alcohol bottles everywhere. He was constantly drinking. If I wasn't around, he was drinking. And even when I was around, he would just disappear. He would mow the lawn and we couldn't find him anywhere. The kids would say, "Have you seen Daddy? Where's Daddy? I thought he was mowing the lawn." He would just mysteriously be gone. Then suddenly he would show up. He would just walk out of the woods. I found out later it was because he was back there drinking. And they also have a rage. I saw hatred on my ex's face several times. The kids and I were living in hell. A narcissistic collapse is ugly. So, when you're stressed out or you're hungry and you take it out on somebody else, then you feel like a jerk afterwards. That's how it is with a narcissist. They'll take everything out on you, but they don't feel bad afterwards. Narcissists are extremely vindictive. So they have a strong or unreasonable desire for revenge against you who haven't done anything wrong. What you did wrong was fall for their act. Narcissists have a permanent grudge against you because, according to them, you have an easier life because you can feel real emotions. They have malicious ill will. They deliberately want to upset or hurt you. It's so important to understand how they really feel. Oftentimes, we're guilty of making up excuses for them, or we feel bad for them. "Oh, they didn't mean it," or "Oh, they can't feel empathy. That's so sad." It might be sad, possibly, I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe it is. But this is your life we're talking about. A narcissist will never change. They don't know how to communicate properly. They don't know how to process their emotions. And a narcissist can be dangerous and violent. When a narcissist feels defeated, they don't have anything to lose. How we see the collapse is going to make us or break us. So one thing to accept, and it really sucks, but you will likely not escape unscathed, and sadly, neither will your children. I mentioned at the beginning of the video my empty home. I love my house. I have a beautiful house, and I wish I didn't have to pack up and leave. But the truth is that my ex's collapse cost me my house. Now, I remember reading an article about narcissism a long time ago, and a woman lost her house, and I felt nauseous at the thought. Losing my house was my worst fear, and here it is. Earlier today, my son was close to tears because we're moving. We're moving out of state, far away. He can't even say goodbye to his friends. Now, the reason that we're moving is because I'm afraid of my ex, and we're leaving to protect ourselves. My ex, like I told you, he's been violent in the past. He's unhinged. I believe that there were at least 2 times that my kids and I were in real physical danger. I'm awake now, and I'm going to protect my kids no matter what, but we're paying for his sins. However, like I told my son, a house is just a house. Things can be replaced. We're going to be safe in our new home. Joy and peace are around the corner. Love is with Joe and his kids. We're starting over with a new family. It's like childbirth. Childbirth is painful. New life doesn't exist without pain. It's how it is. But I want to hug karma because without it, a narcissist might not get what they deserve. I believe in the redemptive power and love, and I encourage everybody to look fear in the eye and do it afraid if you must. But never, never give a narcissist another chance. You will not be able to avoid the pain, but the longer you wait, the worse it will be. And believe me, a narcissist is capable of anything. God bless everybody who's suffering. You are not alone, and it will be okay. You can do it. You must. Thank you so much for watching this video. Really, if you are with a narcissist and they are in a collapse, or you're afraid, or you understand who this person is, the sooner you get out, the better. Putting it off and hoping things will get better, waiting until your children get older, waiting until this or that, it's not ever going to happen. The truth is that once you know, you need to get out. truly appreciate everybody who watches my channel. I will be back on Friday with an update on where I am and a new video. So I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you on Friday.